We're back again with, what do we say, Taklana tonight.
Taklana.
On the couch with Taklana.
That's our combination name. So we just got back from a beautiful night. We're going to do a shout out to super quick guys. For Salties on Travel, Amanda and the team down there are incredible service, incredible mannerisms, incredible food, incredible drinks. Like honestly, we have not had anything less than a 100% amazing night there. So thank you team for being amazing and being on coin, because that also
kicks ass.
He's amazing. He's amazing. So tonight Timmy has decided to stay with us for a couple of days while all the chaos is going on, because the smart people do that. And we decided we'd have him on the couch with us to discuss tonight's topic, which is how you best serve your clients or society. So I'm actually going to let one of you two take if either of you have something you want to roll with.
Yeah, so I was in a mass exodus, 900,000 cars southbound on the M1 as we were announced the lockdown. I had 45 minutes before our whole city, the Brisbane Metro, is in lockdown. And I thought to myself, look at me, I'm really adding value here to culture and society by capturing the Rona and bringing it down to the Gold Coast so I can bark it on every single person I came in contact with. And I thought to myself, isn't that amazing? Because the Rona comes from your mouth. And I thought, what gift and what do we have when we interact with people? And it's words. Words have the power to build up or tear down. I thought to myself, how can I be a contagious person that would always add value to someone or a situation? And I figured it would be words. Prophetic words that speak life and destiny over people, but words that build up and not tear down. Words of faith and of courage and of hope, but on a continual basis. And that just means a habitual pattern. So if I'm so used to being positive, maybe it's hard to slide into the negative, because that neuroplasticity is strong. It's firing in that positive direction all the time. I thought to myself, what if I became a contagious person that gave other people the disease of positive words? You know, other people catching that Rona of positive words consistently, and sort of like a paying forward mentality. What do you think, Clint?
I bloody love that idea, and I love the idea of it being contagious from who you are. The reason I love this so much is the whole point with this conversation and the topic tonight is how do you best serve society or best serve your people, or the people you're around with, or your clients. For me, the best way continuously is to lead by example and to do you in the best possible way you can do that. So if you're doing you and you're having an impact, whether you're having an impact or not, if you're standing in your truth, regardless of what that is, regardless of where the rest of the world is standing, if you're doing you and you're going, you know what, I don't care what the rest of the world's doing, what the way they're following, this is me, this is how I do it, you're going to have that impact on the people around you, whether they're clients, whether it's society. Quite often I know that I think and I feel very, very different to the rest of the world. I know that very, very strongly, that the way I do things is very, very different. Sometimes I also feel like we shouldn't be sheep because sheep get eaten. The other thing about this as well is that if the rest of the world's doing one thing and you're doing the other, it's a damn well good possibility you're right. Because the rest of the world is wrong in so many cases.
Or following suit.
Or following suit. So it's not necessarily wrong, but it doesn't make you wrong to be the one that's completely different. So what that means to me is when so often, how do you best serve your clients? By being me. By being me completely. And I've noticed throughout my time in everything I've done, a number of different things, but particularly in yoga, if I'm not living it, it's not believable because it's not real. If I'm not doing it, and at the same time there's a massive big balance there between being real and between being authentic and being fake. So there's this point where a lot of people, and you'll see it particularly in the yoga world, and it makes me just sort of want to go like that from time to time. There's this so much bullshit out there and people not being real. They have this persona they have to maintain, and it's not real. You can feel it when you go into the class. Whereas if you meet someone and they are literally, and regardless, I know that I've had people say to me, I am a, what's the word that they use? Not a conundrum, an enigma in a lot of cases, because I have a number of different cases. I can be this complete rebel and this different total person, and then over here I can be calm and relaxed, and that's because I need those two polarities to fight together and to work together to create space. But that's also me being very real and living in the world we're in today. I find, and I've said this time and time again, none of us have our shit together 24/7, regardless. None of us do. So if you're showing people that you have your shit together 24/7, you're lying. I don't care who you are lying. We do not live in this world and can have our shit together 24/7. So if you can show people and be authentically who you are, and this isn't just about your clients, this isn't just about the people around you, this is about your kids, your family, your friends. If you can be real with them and you can go, you know what, I'm having a mental breakdown today. I'm having a mental breakdown, and it's okay. You can inspire, you can impact, and you can change the world one breath at a time.
Yes.
Wow.
Yummy.
Your take?
Yummy. Before I do, I just want to establish the caliber of conversation that we have here. Timmy works as an incredible photographer, and his life's work is to capture moments of incredible beauty and bliss or importance or perfection in someone's life and show them the other side that quite often in today's world we don't actually see in the day-to-day moments. But you're also an actor as well, so he does live in this world where he actually gets to put on personas and put on other ulterior egos and motives and whatnot and play out a role in a specific situation, which enables you to have, I feel it enables you to have so much depth of compassion, consideration, understanding of polarity, understanding of construct of the humankind. So I think it's an incredible ability to have there. So you guys have got a really good caliber here. Then you have Clint, who is an amazing yoga teacher, but also an absolute rebel at heart, with the biggest heart, I must say. And so between the two of them here, you've got this capability of understanding that human condition is only whatever you dictate it is, right? And I think for all of us, we all stand here in our uniqueness and we enable ourselves to have a voice despite society's dictations and conflictions of the current moment. And we stand tall in our awkward personas and who we are right now. And we stand with this belief that, you know what, if I can be a human having this human experience and being all that I can be, there's a good darn chance that you just might be able to grasp a few straws together and figure out how to make sticks and make a fire for yourself. Because none of us are actually limited. None of us are actually contained. We only enable ourselves to fall into this void or this vortex or this rut of society's dictations to an element. And I think with all the work that I've done, being in the fact that this is how do you best serve your clients or society, I stand tall in the fact that 2/3 of society is a genetic makeup that is completely disregarded, completely misunderstood, and completely unsupported. I stand for a part of society that is robust, that is emotional beyond capacity, that is outspoken and considerate beyond the norm. I stand for humans that, you know what, cafes, I'm just going to say it right here, right now, cafes in society have got it wrong. Eateries, the food world, as a chef myself, society has this limitation for 2/3 of our Australian population is actually what we would call an endomorphic body type. And just for FYI, shits and giggles, cafes, what time do they shut, guys? In most of your towns, what time do cafes and restaurants shut for lunch? It's at 2 o'clock. Certain bodies actually have lunch at 2 until 4. How many places do you see that you can eat food between 2 and 4? McDonald's, KFC, and these shitty freaking eatery places that are far from substantial food. Far from. So what I do for my clients is let you realize that fuck society, fuck the system, the food system. Fuck the system. If what's his name?
Ice Cube.
The guy that we went out to
Yeah,
event
yeah,
the
the
week.
Fuck the System event. I can't think
Fuck
of
the
his name.
system. Look up hashtag fuck the system on Instagram. You know, this sort of side of things is the factor that so many of us are living in this world that's been dictated to us as the norm. But I tell you what, 2/3 of you live outside of that biologically, and yet you seem to try and cram yourself into this space of being accepted, which is not serving you nor society. Your genetics, your persona, your biology was created to be unique, and yet we sit here in this space of conformity, of doing what you're freaking well told, and not shining your light, not living out your genius, not representing the status, the non-status quo, not actually liberating your biology and so much more, not standing for who you are and who you could be, yet you will fall into conformity and allow yourself to be victim in society. Whereas if you would all actually stand tall in the fact that there is no other human like yourself, there is no other human that has your capability, your brain patterns, your emotions, your standpoints, your thoughts, your contribution. If you would all stand tall in the fact that there is no other motherfucker out there that actually has the capability you have, we would actually have a society that actually stands for something.
I like that. There's a few things that I really take from that. A few really good things that I can take from that. First of all, we are individuals. All of us are individuals.
Even biological twins are biologically different.
And the biggest thing that, coming back to how you influence people is showing them that it's okay to be you. It's absolutely okay. And if you're feeling like the government or the world's against you, that's okay. It's not okay to accept it. It's definitely not okay to accept it for your own self. That will be detrimental to your mental health. But if you're feeling like you need to have a voice, have your damn voice. And to influence or to impact society or your clients, the best thing you can do, and this is going to come back to it again. You ready? Be present. So if we can be present, the more present we are, we can sit in our truth and we can own our space and go, you know what? This doesn't line up with who I am. That shit's contagious. I know for me, there's nothing more painful for me than when I'm trying to be someone else, and I hate it. I hate trying to be someone else because you know what? I love me. No one else has to love me, but I have to love me. I have to wake up with me every day. Well, I try and force you to wake up with me too. But you know, the thing is if you can own that, now that's a matter of being present. When you can be fully present or more present, you can own that space. That's contagious. You can say to yourself and you can say to the people around you, who you are is perfect. You are enough. This is how we impact the world, by being more conscious. We impact, we change, we do. Leading by example, and I've said this so many times in the last bit. You want to change the world? How does the world tell you to change the world? Join a revolution. I'm sorry, that's not how we change the world. In my opinion, I'm probably totally wrong for some of these people. A revolution, joining a revolution makes you another damn follower.
Yes.
Individually rebelling.
For what
standing
you stand
for what you stand for consciously. Don't just go, oh, you know what, I don't like Maccas, I'm not going to do this. Stand for what you stand for. Think clearly. Calm down, sit there in your presence, own your space and go, this is what I stand for and I will not accept this anymore. You don't have to have a revolution to do that. You can individually rebel and the contagiousness of that energy will move. Think. That's what we're here to do. Again, it comes back to that, don't be a sheep. Sheep get eaten. And the other thing to remember is wolves never lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. So different subject of conversation, but don't ever think your government cares about the way you feel. Remember this in so many things that are going on right now. Your impact in the world is your impact. You need to feel that and stand strong in that. And be the wolf. You don't have to be the sheep that gets eaten. You don't have to be the sheep that's getting injured in all of these situations. But as someone that is consciously living, you can have that impact and change the world one breath at a time.
Even if it's only affecting one person in the next week or the next month, that's huge. Changing one person's perspective or setting free one person
that may be all you're here for.
Is maybe all you're here for. But like, I really love to jump across you, Timmy, like being in the movie industry. I love some movies, how they show and they constantly show the struggle, then the one person standing and saying, I stand for this no more. I stand for freedom, I stand for self-righteousness, I stand for all of the things that matter as a humanity. The movies show us what we're capable of doing in many ways. There's also a lot of crap. But the moral or the good part of the story is that as unique individuals, we have so much capability that if we would just be within ourselves and harness that.
And cinema and major motion pictures is a bit like the plight of the human being. You've got the honeymoon phase, then you've got the antagonist, and then you've got where there's conflict and then conflict resolution. And it's how we are as humans, where we go through our seasons, a season to build, a season to grow, a season to overcome. And it's really interesting. But what Clint was talking about before, that authenticity, when I was on a movie recently where I had to be a sleazy soldier in the Korean War, constantly smoking cigarettes and nibbling on a girl's ear in a really flirty sort of way. And because the scene... and in major motion pictures, they film the same scene over and over and over again. So it's 8 hours of smoking herbal cigarettes and doing something that is out of I found it very unnatural for me to be that sleazy, flirtatious character. And it was almost like I had to force myself to not be congruent, which means my thoughts and actions and words didn't line up with how I was deep inside. And being out of divine order in yourself or not being congruent is kind of, it causes distortion and fragmentation of the soul. And I can see how it could be carcinogenic of years and years of holding a mask and not releasing those walls, letting down those boundaries, and being a true, authentic representation of your human spirit and bare heart would be so debilitating to not experience that true level of freedom. And congruency is it sounds like an interesting word, but it just means like your actions, your emotions, and what you say and do and think all align in the same order. There's nothing that you say something and do something different, or you say you're going to be somewhere and do something different. There's liberation in having that authenticity, like Clint had said. And
yeah,
it's interesting you say that. Like we do look at this. If we look at the media, and we look at how many actors and actresses live a wholesome, fulfilling life, many of them grow to this point of defragment where they don't feel connected to themselves, or they realize this constantly living out personas and acting roles. They're never actually truly being inside themselves. They're never really feeling fulfilled because they're not living out their own truth. They're constantly putting on a facade and a shield or an acting structure. And I feel like it's the perfect persona of society today, is that we're so often given this checklist of what's the right human to be in today's society, to be acceptable, to be wanted, to be loved, to be beautiful, to be sexy, to be thin, or to be of model material of society, like of the upper society. I'm not going to think of the word right now, but to be these things, there's so many parts that we are put upon ourselves, we allow to be put upon ourselves, where we're living outside of our own actual truth.
This is a really interesting concept. I'm going to start the next bit by saying, find yourself and be that. Now, it's very easy as an outsider looking in to talk about movie stars. Doesn't
Only
matter
because
who
we
it
have
is.
one on the couch.
No, it's not just that. Well, that as well. But the reason that it's very easy to do that, it's easier to look at what somebody else is than look at yourself. Now, I know for my own personal experience, it's escapism, but my point with that is all of us should take a good hard look at yourself. I want you to check your pockets, check your top drawer, look in the cupboard, find yourself.
Look in your fridge.
Look in your fridge, under the cupboard, all of these things. The reason I say that is so many of us lose ourselves very quickly. Now, it's very, very simple. When you look at these things, how many of us don't feel like you're being yourself in your relationship? How many of you have been married 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, whatever else it is, and you feel like you have unconditional love? Now, I'm going to tell you something. The majority of us have conditional love. Okay? Regardless of what you think, because there's some of these conditions, maybe they're conditions of a psychopath. Nevertheless, some of these conditions are, I am going to love you as long as you do this. I'm going to love you as long as this happens. Now, what happens, whether it's actually said or not, you teach people how to treat you. And what ends up happening over time is that slowly, bit by bit, you lose yourself. Now, when you've lost yourself and you've lost your way, you cannot be authentically happy. You can find temporary happiness, but you don't have that energy you remember having as a damn kid. We've got a lot to learn from kids in the way that they do things. We have this ability to be not just happy. We have the ability to be static and on this level of growth that is not like this. It can be straight up. We can be in this position when you are true to yourself, coming back to that authenticity. I feel like the best way, again, to inspire, to impact your clients, and again, I'm not so big on just the clients, this is society, and for a lot of us that have kids, I want to impact my children to be able to say, you know what, you're crazy, you are whatever you are, and be that. Find that. I don't give a shit whether society doesn't approve of the way you wear your hair or of the way you do whatever else. If that's you and that makes you feel like you, that's where the power is. That is where the power is, and that is when you're living in your true self, when you're present, when you're balanced. That is contagious, and I feel like that is the whole point of everything we're doing. You want to change the world, change you first.
So I think, coming back to how you best serve your clients or society, this entire conversation has been about just being you.
Yeah.
Working on being your greatest version of yourself. Sharing from a place of compassion, love, and empathy. Not even empathy, because empathy is empathizing with someone's patheticness. So watch yourself on that one. But more about understanding that we all have our own story, our own structure, our own gift to give. And if we don't sit within that space of wonder and bewilderment at each other's greatness, then we actually lose the magic that is actually that is held within each soul.
Yes.
If we can just have bewilderment and awareness and appreciation for the uniqueness of the human soul in front of you, then we get to have a glorious moment each and every day, each and every interaction, as to how that human soul entity is actually going to show up for you in this time and space. That is the magic of life, and that is the gift at which we give to our clients and society.
I'd just like to touch on one other thing.
Yes.
As we continuously talk about consciousness and being present, have a look at the way a child looks at the world.
Oh, yes.
You have a look at the way a child looks at the world, and I know that it gets irritating as you're a parent. Why? Why is the trees green? Why is this? They don't reduce things to less than they are. And this is something that the English language in particular absolutely has destroyed. It's reduced things to less than they are. Now I want you to think of the most amazing sunset and then describe it without using baseline words. Without using, it was red, pink. Without using and reducing this to less than it is. That's what enlightenment is. It was, how do you describe that sunset? The depth and the color and the intensity and the magic was real. It was in my face. It felt, start looking at things the way a child looks at the world. They look at it as an opportunity. They look at it bewildered. They look at it excited as something new. We look at this damn world.
This isn't a pen. This is a lightsaber.
Absolutely, with that imagination.
This is a train. This is whatever.
If we can find that inner child, that inner play, that inner consciousness, and to be honest, I really do think kids are actually more connected, more in line, more spiritual than any of the rest of us, because they look at this whole damn world with that sense of wonder. They look at it and go, oh geez, how can you even grow that hair on your face? They don't need to know. Well, they don't need to reduce it to, as you get older, you know, this and that's going to change. No. Just look at it with this sense of wonder. And if you could look at this world with a sense of wonder, and as I said, I don't have it all together, but I want to. I want to be more of a kid than I've ever been, and be able to look at the world with excitement and joy and passion. Then you can really impact not just your clients. Let's stop reducing things to that, but every damn person on the face of this earth. Every person that you come into contact with. You know when you've got someone that comes in a room and they have that energy, and you're like, Timmy, I want more of this dude. I want more of this dude. I want more of that. I want more of that, and that's for me.
That's a goal.
If anyone ever gets a chance to Google the story of Iron John, it's a fantastic depiction. It's an ancient story, but basically, to summarize it, it's about the early stages of a person's life. A child has a golden ball. A golden ball is a ball of humility and childlike faith and simplicity and joy, and they're always throwing that ball up and catching it and laughing and giggling, and that joy is almost the strength that can propel that child into prophetic destiny. But what happens is things get in the way. The tyranny of the urgent, the rigors of life, like a chainsaw, just come in bit by bit and attack that golden ball, and it goes missing, and all of a sudden fear, which is a foundation of wrong choices or false evidence appearing real, comes and squanders that prophetic destiny like a ravishing ball, and it just takes bit by bit, and before you know it, all it took Christopher Columbus to be 3 degrees off, and he was already in the North South Americas, already 2,000 miles off course. And that's how it happens over time. That's why humility and a teachable spirit, the ancient texts talk about the tongue of the learned, and that's what we want. That's how we can contribute to society as well, by making sure that through everyone leaning into the best way they can to fulfill their prophetic destiny, other people will catch that, have that pay it forward mentality, and there can be a growth of consciousness and an evolution who we are as people that can lean into a more, much more awakened society.
I like that, paying it forward. A society grows great when old men plant trees for whose shade they'll never sleep under.
Wow.
That's that humility. That's the change. That's how things get better. Stop looking at yourself. Start doing things without a reason for it. We said this last night. Do good things even when no one's fucking looking.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's a good bedtime story. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. As always, we love these conversations. We love hearing your thoughts, your concerns, your emotions, your reactions, and anything that you ponder amongst this conversation. So always reach out, always speak your truth, and we will see you again tomorrow night.
Signing out from Taklana on the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.